Hi, this is Yolanda, and welcome to the Digital Marketing Masters podcast. And every week on the show, I bring you easy, actionable tips, content, and strategies that you can use to grow your business online almost immediately. If you're new here, thank you for choosing us. Please subscribe to this podcast on whichever podcasting app you're listening on. And if there's something that you need me to cover, drop me a line. It's Yolanda at yolandarose.com or message us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. All my handles are Yolanda Rose. The branding is there. It's easy to pick up if you find another Yolanda Rose. But say hello. Let me know what you think, and I would love to hear your feedback. And also, I would greatly appreciate if you could drop me an honest review on Apple iTunes. It will just help me reach more folks just like you looking to grow their business, their brand online. And yeah, we can do it together. Today on the show, we are speaking to John Vuong. Now, John Vuong is a Canadian based SEO expert, and I spoke to him. We spoke about his business, a local SEO search, and I specifically brought him on the show today to talk to us on how to build relationships that can grow your business. So let's jump into that interview with John Vuong. Okay, so John, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Yolanda. I'm excited to share some insights on relationships with your audience members today.
Yeah, so you're on here today and we're talking about how we as business owners and marketers, how can we build relationships that can help grow our business?
Yes, that's right. And that's probably the biggest challenge for a lot of people, right? How do you connect with people in a more intimate level so that they feel comfortable doing business with you?
Yeah. Yes, that's right. So tell us what is relationship building?
So, what I believe relationship building is a different level in not just business relationships, but
Mm-hmm.
personal relationships. As you know, um, your core group of family, your core group of friends, the ones that been through a lot of troubled times that you can trust to really rely on, right? Especially during this pandemic. People,
Yes.
that is a core group of the people that are most important in your life. That's what true relationship building is all about. And we're going to discuss that today.
Okay, and how does this personal side of things, how does that integrate to our businesses?
Yeah, so that's the big differentiator. A lot of people do it for the sole reason to generate revenue or
Mm-hmm.
to really grow their business, right?
Yeah.
I take it on a different level because I believe is when people like what you are all about, what you do for them, when you start giving them advice, personal advice, relationship advice, business advice, or just any kind of advice, and you keep giving
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
eventually what's going to happen is they actually like you. They
Mm-hmm.
actually want to learn about, what you're all about, what your business can actually do, how you got to where you are, right? So you
Yes.
have to really connect with them on a more intimate level.
Okay.
And that,
Sorry, you go
yeah.
ahead.
Yeah. So the intimate level is all about like,
Yeah.
yes, at the beginning, it's all about triggers, right? Yes, it's cost savings,
Mm-hmm.
bringing some benefits, values. It's all about triggering on them to really take action, right? But once
Okay.
the communication starts, then you really have to inquire and probe and ask questions about themselves so that you can find gaps and opportunities to really help them.
Okay, because normally, in a traditional business sense, you would go out and see a client or even jump on a Zoom call. But how do you bring that level of intimacy when it comes to building that relationship, especially now with what's going on? Everybody is on lockdown. Things are slowly getting back to normal, but still people are apprehensive about getting face to face with in a business sense. So how do we break down those barriers considering the situation right now in the world?
I Yes, I totally agree. So what we've been doing at our agency and even my experience,
Hmm.
I did work at Yellow Pages prior to starting this agency 7 years ago, and I was there for 5 years. And during that time, I got trained and worked with some of the best salespeople in the industry and in advertising sales in general. And what I've learned from them was just get to know your customers, really get to know them. Like, what are their trigger points, pain points? are they going through some tough challenges? Get to know the root of those causes, right?
Yeah.
And find solutions. Step outside the box of not just your product and service offering, but find other things that will actually help them. So for instance, we do SEO, great,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
it's a service offering for digital presence, getting more ranking. However, if people have some challenges on how to cultivate and take care of the customers, customer relationship, or service level, I will always bring some insights and bring additional value to them by referencing people that I've worked with or give them my insight and knowledge, right? Like provide value, keep giving,
Yes.
because what is more important to you is that relationship. So they remember, if they might not need your services,
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
But if they feel like you actually care about them,
Mm-hmm.
not just about them on a business level, but on a personal level, they
Yeah.
will eventually turn around and work with you when
Yeah.
timing is right.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, what kind of what kind of tactics can we use to start building better relationship, especially in the digital space?
I think that the core foundation is look at who are the closest people in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Usually it's your parents,
Yes.
your spouse, your best friends, your family members, right?
You're right.
Ask them what is important. Why am I so close to you? What triggers you? Like, do they trust me to a sense that they feel like you're, just telling them straight as
Mm-hmm.
like they're honest, right? So if
Right.
that's the root and that's the reason people want to, you know, get advice from you as an individual or as a human, then really humanize those communication touch points with all your prospects, your potential customers, right? Like, how long did it take for your friends to really trust you, right? That's what it usually you can kind of shrink time that way, but
Okay.
once you figure that secret sauce out, right? Like what
Yeah.
are the triggers, then you can then put it back to the business standpoint in a digital presence, for instance, and it's all about connecting with them with a personal touch. Find out, and the biggest thing is probing them, asking questions, because a lot of people just go into the pitch right off the bat,
Yeah.
right?
We don't get to know
what
our
I
customer. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. What I
Mm-hmm.
kind of do is the first communication or contact is ask questions, because business owners love talking about themselves, and they will you will uncover a lot of their main root causes or pain points. And if you and it might be 2 or 3 or 4 different contacts and communication before they have a more open discussion with you, right?
Right.
But it's harvesting real relationships that actually extend further than business, if
Okay.
you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah, I get what you mean. Uh, a big part of our audience here on the Digital Marketing Masters podcast, we're leveraging digital. We're
Yes,
leveraging
that's right.
social media, online
Yes.
ads. So how do we incorporate the personal touch on a mass medium with leveraging the digital platforms that we have available to us?
Yeah, definitely. I know this is a really good question,
Hmm.
because we do this all the time. You focus on one medium, let it be social, let it be video, let it be, you know, email, for instance,
Yeah,
right? You need to figure out multi-touch point drip campaigns to figure out what the pain points are, who the ideal customers are, and where are they consuming that content. The first most important thing is start that communication. Figure out
okay.
which medium works for that individual prospect. If they actually engage with you on email, then you know that's their main go-to mode of communication, right?
Yeah,
Then once email is the main medium, then what you want to do is understand, like, communicate by email with them and have a normal conversation. Like, don't talk about business, talk about like how was your weekend, weather, travel, family, anything that is outside of business. I know this sounds kind of weird,
yeah.
but on a mass level, it's
Hmm.
all about connecting with the people to find out what the main triggers are. And if you can uncover their main triggers, then you have a better chance to cultivate real transactions of business,
Okay.
right? People try to focus on the transaction right off the bat, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of lead time that needs to harvest that, especially a big ticket item, right?
Hmm.
You need to ensure that they are in it for the long term.
Okay. You mentioned multiple touch points. Which combination, when it comes to digital, which combination of those multiple touch points are working right now?
So what we've been doing is testing all the
Hmm.
time, right? Depending on the vertical, depending on the type of client we want to go after.
Yeah.
Obviously, the easiest one is email, right?
Yes.
However, you also have to figure out what position are they, right? Are they even socially inclined? Like, are they big into Twitter? Are they big into Facebook? Are they big into LinkedIn, right? Like, figure that out. You have to uncover that by testing, right? So
Okay.
what we do is multiple channels with a drip campaign to figure out for each individual prospect which channel are they comfortable with. Once you uncover that, that's the channel of choice for that individual customer prospect, right?
So
So
testing is key.
very key,
Yeah.
especially if you're going after a bigger ticket item, right?
Hmm.
However, on a mass level, if you're just selling a SaaS product of under $100 per subscription,
Hmm.
then you need to go mass, right?
Yeah.
However, if you're going after a very large ticket
Very niche.
item where it's a longer sales cycle and is a bigger, tens of the hundreds of $1,000s purchase, you need to really build that relationship.
Okay. So how how can we not come across as transactional with our clients? Because I mean, we're gonna build this personal relationship leading up to the sale, but what happens post sale? How do we maintain those relationships and nurture them to the next project as such?
Yeah, so nurturing it, don't just forget. People always go for the sale, and
Hmm.
once the commission is paid, they forget about them, right?
Yeah.
I also have a drip campaign and a funnel post sale as well to
Okay.
nurture and try to get referrals and make sure that your customer service is up to the level that they expected when they purchased with you in the first place. Because if you're constantly, trying to harvest that relationship early days and you would communicate with them on daily basis, but once they purchase, you totally drop off the map and you forget about them,
Yeah.
there goes that customer experience. You need to continue following up. And it's as important. I know a lot of people forget about it because the incentive for them in terms of commission is passed already,
Yeah.
but you always have to remember the referrals or repeat and upsales in terms of sales, right? So you have to understand that it's a lot easier to harvest your existing customers than going after new customers all the time.
Yeah, of course, it's a lot cheaper. But how frequently should it be done? I mean, post sale. Obviously, you're not going to be chatting or interacting with the prospect as much post sale, but you don't want them to feel like you're in the face constantly. So, how often should it be?
So it all depends on the ticket item that you're purchasing, right? Or
Mm.
if it is under $100, then
Yeah,
weekly maybe,
yeah,
or even monthly. But if
okay,
it is a larger ticket, like a $10,000 or $100,000 product or
yeah,
software or service that you're offering, then
yeah,
it has to be more frequent, and you have to have a timeline and expectations embedded, right, in terms of the KPI. So you need to ensure that there are multiple touch points because it's as important, because you want to ensure that that stickiness of that client will continue for the lifeline, and the lifetime value of the customers will stay for longer than ever, right? Because all they want is someone to really take care of them. Whatever you promise early days, you better perform and over deliver, right?
yes,
Or else they're going to shop around and go for someone else, right? So
yeah,
the
yeah,
most important thing is really harvesting but retaining those relationships and understanding the power of, now that they're a customer and they trusted you in the beginning, now it's your job to not let them down,
yeah.
right?
Okay, so as business owners, it's not possible for us to serve everybody, and somewhere along the line, and you try and keep it as minimum as possible, those relationships are going to get burnt. How do you come back from that? How do you heal from that with that burnt client?
So right off the bat, I would say try mitigating it and not having it happen in the first place. But if
Yeah.
it did happen, you need to self-reflect, figure out what went wrong, why did it go wrong, and how do you make sure it doesn't go wrong ever again. Put
Yeah.
in some processes in place. Make sure you maybe once you do the sale and maybe you're not strong in account management, hire someone for it that is strong, right?
Yeah.
Having multiple touch points with people that actually understand the response time, the ensuring that they feel like you actually care. That's the most important thing in terms of relationship building, right? Even pre-sale to post-sale and afterwards, if they feel like you actually care about them and their business and their goals, they're going to stick with you. But be transparent. If you cannot deliver, let them know that unfortunately we've tried, we can't do what you can do. There's
Yeah.
different options. We can look for someone, help you look for someone, or we might not be a good fit. Let them know, be honest, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people hide about that. they,
Uh-huh.
they are fearful that, yes, they spent a lot of time bringing on that customer, but then they forget them afterwards, or they disappoint them, right? Try to prevent that and put in measures in place on what ifs. If you do disappoint people, how do you overcome it, right? And make sure that you have systems and processes to overcome it afterwards. Like, make sure it doesn't mitigate it as much as possible in the future.
All right. So we've almost reached to the end of our time for today. Any final thoughts on building relationships that you want to share with the audience right now?
I know it's more important than ever, right?
Yeah.
People are, with social media, with digital, there's so much going on. People believe they are experts right off the bat. My suggestion is really understand your customers, get to really know them, personalize them, and always look at your core group of people that actually trust you in the first place. If you're in sales, you probably know people that really trust you,
Yeah.
right? They rely on you for everything, or if they call you, you're going to take care of them. So make it a point to do the same thing for all your prospects, right? Your clients, right?
Hmm.
Do whatever it takes to harvest, nurture them, and then you actually have a real relationship. And that's what it's all about. Like, really caring, really taking care of people, because that's when it matters most, right? And if they leave you, it's fine, right? Because it's all about like being real, honest with them, and
Yeah.
follow up.
Being
Just
genuine.
say,
Uh-huh.
yeah, be genuine, be authentic, be raw, right? And that's what life is about, right? Like, as long as you care about people, they will care about you.
Hmm. Yeah. All right, cool. John, I didn't even ask you at the beginning of this interview. We just went straight into it. Tell us a little bit more about your SEO agency.
Yeah, so we started 7 years ago, local SEO search. The reason I started was I didn't have any SEO experience prior.
Uh-huh.
I worked at Yellow Pages. I worked at some traditional media, mainly print and some online affiliate as well. But what I've done was me and my VP of sales worked with over 10,000 local business owners.
Uh-huh.
And that's the big advantage, like really caring, really getting to know business owners and their pain points and what they're after. And as much as you think it's all about return on investment and all about like, really taking them to the next level, it's these little things that differentiate you. Like, when you set out and really help them in other ways, that's where you connect with them on a personal level or business level, right? And
Okay.
that's what it's all about. Like, people that actually feel like you are giving it all, they will feel like they're gonna reward you in the end.
All right. Cool. And if anybody wants to reach out to you, how do they do that?
You can check out our website, localseosearch.ca. And we also have a podcast that has a lot of information. It's called Local SEO Today.
Okay. Awesome, John. I greatly appreciate you giving us your time today and coming on and talking to us about building relationships that can grow our business. And I hope to have you back soon.
Thank you so much, Yolanda. Have a great day.
So that's it. John has dropped real great value. If you want to reach out to him, check out his website. It's localseosearch.ca. So I really hope that you've learned something from this episode. If there's something specific you want me to cover, please drop me an email. It's yolanda@yolandarose.com, and I'll chat to you next week.